Good morning, geometry students. We only got a couple more days to go before our spring break. So nice work on your tests yesterday. I'm going to be working on grading those soon. Also, as some of you have been getting some late work to me and such, I'll be getting that in. I'm going to be making a post about that goes to all my classroom pages about late work and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and start in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for our test yesterday and that we were able to finish that and complete that. And please be with us as we continue and look through a few different things these next 2 days, and then help us to have a good, restful break. Amen. All right, so guys, I know it could be very easy to just stop watching my videos and stuff because we took our test and now we have 2 days. But these 2 days, I'm going to do something today that just talks about area a little bit more, which is what we were doing yesterday, and kind of throw a little bit more of an algebra wrench into it. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about the end of course exams. And so please check in on both days. Both days should be pretty easy, and the homework should not be hard. That goes with today, as long as you watch this video and you're listening, okay? So today's homework is called regular polygons. Now, polygon means more than, like a certain number of sides that maybe we don't know. Like a quadrilateral has 4 sides. A pentagon has 5 sides, right? Excuse me. So we can say all these names and it tells us the number of sides there are. But if we don't necessarily know how many sides, like I have some pictures drawn here and I could tell you what they are, but I'm just going to tell you they're polygons. Okay, that means multiple sides. But here's something unique. I could draw a 5-sided figure and it could look kind of crazy. The sides wouldn't have to be the same. The angles wouldn't have to be the same. It wouldn't look very nice, if you kind of want to say it that way. I know some of you drive. I know some of you don't yet. But I want you to think when you pull up to a stop sign. Those sides are all the same, like that shape looks a lot like this. That's part of the reason I picked red. Looks a lot like this, and it looks so nice because all the sides are the same. And all these angles, like I could turn it like this and people would still know this was a stop sign and know what they're supposed to do. Okay? This one right here, same thing. If you look, no matter what way I turn it, do you see how that shape looks the same no matter what? When you have a shape that looks nice, it is called a regular polygon because all the sides, like if I would go through and measure these, all these are the same and all these angles are the same. So the next equation I'm about to give you is only for something called a regular polygon. But I promise you, everything on today's homework, the first half of today's homework, they are all regular polygons, okay? So we're gonna learn a little bit of a different equation than the normal area equations we have. And it sounds really kind of funny. There's a few things in it, but I'm going to write down the equation and show it to you. And then I'm going to write down what the letters mean. So this is the equation you're going to use. As soon as I give you the information, you're going to use that for this, well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, octagon. As soon as I give you that information, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to use it for that pentagon. Now that is something that is important, okay? What I just did was counted the number of sides, okay? And in this equation right here, we do have 3 letters. N stands for the number of sides. So in just a minute, I'm going to go through and give these to you. N stands for the number of sides. S stands for the length of the side. So like if I would measure this, how long is that? Okay. So S is the length of the side. N is the number of sides. If for some reason you forget that and switch those around, it's kind of not a big deal, but I just need you to know that we need a length of the side and the number of sides. This A is a very interesting word. It's called the apothem. It's A-P-O-T-H-E-M. All right? It's not necessarily important for you to know that. Guys, I'm going to kind of run out of room here. I apologize. I should have given myself a little bit more room, so I'll zoom in there. This is what we would call the length of the center. It is actually, again, called the apothem, but I want you to think about center. Now, if you could imagine, like if I would move this way back, does this a little bit look like a circle? Hopefully it does. And if it is a circle, I bet you could put a dot smack dab in the middle of that circle. Now, what the apothem is, or when I say length from the center, you would have to go from that spot straight, just like we had to do yesterday for our test. This line has to intersect and be perpendicular. So do you see how now I have that line that's perpendicular? This right here would be what we call A. So if we look down here, do you see how the center is like right about there? And it doesn't really matter what side I go to. I know on this top one, I went straight down to the bottom. If I would really want to, I could go off to the side like that. Now, those will already be marked. You do not have to find those. When you open up your homework today, this might not even be dashed. It might be a solid line. It's going to give you a shape that already looks like this. All these things are going to be here. So guys, listen to me. The homework, all you got to do is remember this equation and type in these numbers. There is a half in it, okay? So if you give me 2 more seconds, I wanted to have those there. So I just want to chat with you guys a little bit. I really hope your weeks have been going well. And I know it's kind of interesting, but anybody have any like last minute thoughts or anything they want to send me? I mean, you can send me an email real quick. A couple of you I've been talking to, and you guys say how nice it is, and I totally agree. It's not going to be so much fun that right now we have to wait a few more weeks to see each other. We all thought we could go back to school April 20th, and we were ready for that. But I miss seeing you guys. I think you know that. And so don't be afraid to reach out and like do a video chat or something. It gets a little bit lonely up at school when I'm there by myself. And it's nice to hear from you guys, and it's nice to see your faces. So don't be afraid to reach out and say something. And like if you have any prayer requests, as always. So why don't you, this is what you get your point for today for. You are going to send me an email. And in your email, you're just going to say 2 to 3 sentences about how this first 3 weeks of digital learning went. Maybe not only in my class, maybe just overall. Maybe you're like, I'm sick and tired and I want to be back at school. That's fine if you say that. Some of you might say, I'm doing just fine with this. It doesn't bother me. Some of you might say, this is the worst thing ever. I can't handle it. Guys, I want to hear from you and I want to know how you're doing. And I'll let you know. If you guys need some help with stuff, I'll do what I can to help you out. So if you look at this, I wrote some numbers on there now. You guys see this and this? All right, I know I tilted it to the side compared to before. That's why I have my paper this way. The one other neat thing you need to do is start counting. So I would love for you to start counting with me. I'm going to do it out loud, but go ahead and join in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have to do that by yourself. That will not be given. So on this problem, would you please write n equals 8? This dash line right here, mine are dashed again on the homework tonight, it might be solid. This dash line right here is A. This right here is S. This is N. So all you have to do is write 1/2. S was 3.1. A was 3.5. Those were both in centimeters. Guys, N does not have a unit with it. So centimeters times centimeters. Our answer is going to be centimeters squared. Our answer is going to be centimeters squared. So then just take out your handy dandy calculator, whichever one it might be. 1/2 is the same thing as 0.5, so you could type in 1/2 or 0.5 times 3.1 times 3.5. And since this has 8, we would do times 8. And that would mean the area of this red shape that I have on this paper right now is 43.4 centimeters squared, because remember, sorry, my centimeters squared kind of ran into my red, so hopefully you can read that anyway. 43.4 centimeters squared. 43.4 centimeters squared. All right, so let me get the numbers on this purple shape down here. Excuse me. All right, go ahead and hit pause. And again, if you counted the number of sides on that one, there were 5 sides. So you would have to do 0.5 times 4.3 times 6.3 times 5. And if you do that, I am hoping that your area is 67.725. Since this was inches, we would write inches squared. Now, I don't know what the homework says today, but unless your number goes on forever and ever, really to write 0.725 didn't take that long. I would personally say, even if your directions say it, don't round anything, okay? Don't round anything. All right, guys, another thing, because we know when we're working on end of course exams, sometimes some weird things come up. We're gonna do a few area equations backwards. Do you see how up here we have a rectangle and we already know the area of it? And it looks like we know the length of the base. Well, I'm going to remind you of something. Area is supposed to equal base times height in this problem. And what does it say the area is here? I would even include the unit of inches squared. What is the base? But the height we don't know. These should be multiplied. So to get rid of that 6.7, you will divide both sides by 6.7 inches. Now here's another thing that's kind of interesting, and you probably did this last year in algebra. If you have 2 inches on top and 1 inch on bottom, they cancel out and you're left with just 1 inch. Not like the number 1 inch, but the unit of inches. So sometimes when I do that, like if we were in class, you would see me cross out that 2 and cross out that inch to show that those canceled each other, and therefore I'm left with only inch. So I'm going to do 16.75 divided by 6.7. And my calculator tells me then that this answer is a nice answer of 2.5 inches. A little bit of algebra to solve backwards, because I have seen sometimes on end of course exam that they make you solve for something in the middle. So let's do this one now. It's a little bit trickier. We know our area. Our area of this triangle is 33.25. And we know the height of it. So what is our normal equation for a triangle? Okay, it's a little bit different because we have that 1/2 there. What is the total area? Okay, then we write 1/2. Do we know our base? Do we know a number across the bottom here? All right. But we know our height is 7 centimeters. All right, we're going to do this kind of easy, starting from this side where my finger is already pointing. I have times 7. How do you get rid of a times 7? Excellent. Divide by 7. So 33.25 divided by 7 is 4.75. Remember, I just did it a second ago. Centimeters squared divided by centimeters would just be a centimeter. All right, how would you get rid of 1/2? There's 2 ways we could say, there's 2 things we could do. 1/2 is a fraction. We don't really like to divide by fractions. So instead, since it's 1/2, to get rid of 1/2, you can double something. Guys, I'm going to really recommend that you hear that today, because it's going to happen a few times, possibly on tonight's homework. When you have 1/2, multiply both sides by 2. Because look right here. 1/2 and 2 cancel each other out, so I'm left with just h. But that means I have to take 4.75, which is currently still on my calculator, and multiply it by 2. So it looks like, that was supposed to be a b instead of an h. I knew the height, I didn't know the base. So it looks like my base is going to be 9.5 centimeters. It looks like my base is going to be 9.5 centimeters. And so you have a few problems that look like that on tonight's homework as well. And so please make sure, oh guys, up here I was doing something else too. So the height on this top example, remember we did a little bit of math, so there I'll zoom in case you need to rewrite it down. And you can always pause and or go back. But that is what your homework looks like today. And so I hope you're able to work on those. I just wanted to finish up those last few area things before we move on to some other things after our spring break. So I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to email me, and you can just email me and write whatever you want. If it's 3 paragraphs long, that's fine. I would love to hear from you. I miss you guys so much. Have a good day. Bye.